Aesop at the shipyard. Now, before I tell you this story, I need to give you some background information. Background information is something that you need to know before you hear the story. If you don't know the background information, maybe you won't understand the story. So, this is the background information. As you know, every culture has their own story about how the earth began. The ancient Greeks also had their own story. Now, the ancient Greeks believed that the earth was alive. The whole earth. All the mountains, all the grasslands, all the forests. It was all alive, and it was all one big earth goddess. A goddess is... What is a goddess? A goddess is a female god. They are very powerful. The ancient Greeks believed in many gods and goddesses. And the earth was one goddess. Now, in the beginning, the whole earth was covered by water, by ocean. The ocean covered the whole earth. But one day, the earth goddess took a big gulp of water. Now, gulp means to drink a lot of something. For example, gulp. Gulp. You can hear the gulp sound. You drink something a lot and very quickly, and it's a gulp. So the earth goddess took a big gulp and drank up the ocean. And the ocean went down. And you could see the mountains. And then the earth goddess took another big gulp. And the ocean went down again. And this time, the forests and the grasslands appeared. But there was still some ocean left. This is the ocean that we have today. But the Greeks believed that someday in the future, maybe, the earth goddess will gulp again. And then all of the ocean will disappear. So that's the background information. Now, this is the story. The story is about Aesop. Aesop was a famous storyteller. And one day, Aesop went to a town that was next to the ocean. Now, because this town was next to the ocean, they needed to build a lot of ships. They used ships for everything. So, ships are big boats that you can use to carry many things across the ocean. Lots of people had jobs building ships. So one day, Aesop went to the shipyard. The shipyard is where the ships are built. And he went there to watch the builders building the ships. The builders saw Aesop. Now, Aesop was very ugly, and he was very poor. He was not rich. So the builders saw how ugly he was, and they could see his clothes, and his clothes were very poor. And they laughed at him, and they made fun of him. Look at that ugly poor man, ha ha ha. And Aesop noticed they were laughing at him. So he said, I understand. You think you are better than me because you have good jobs and you have money from your job. But Aesop said, let me tell you a story. Aesop was always telling stories. And Aesop said, in the beginning, the whole earth was covered by ocean. But the earth took a big gulp, and the ocean went down, and the mountains appeared. And the earth took another big gulp, and the ocean went down again, and the forests and the grasslands appeared. And someday, said Aesop, the earth may take a third gulp, and then the oceans will disappear entirely, completely. And then, with no oceans, no one will need ships. And you will no longer have jobs. The moral of the story is, the world is always changing, and what you have today could be gone tomorrow. What do you think? What do you think? Do you agree? I agree with this moral. In fact, I think this story is more true now than ever. This is a very old story. This story is 2,500 years ago. But it is so true now, because nowadays the world is changing so quickly. Computers and technology, everything is changing the way we live. And the jobs that are good jobs today may not be there in 20 years. In 20 years, many jobs, maybe, will be done by computers. And so I think that this story is more true now than ever. But what do you think? Do you agree with this moral? Why or why not?